Welcome to Brent Locked In, a video interview series with people that are from Brent, that have accomplished things in their life as part of the London Borough of Culture 2020 initiative. Today, we're going to meet rapper, comedian, and one of my favorite actors, Ben Smith. Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? I'm good, man. I'm good. Enjoying the sunshine.
I was really happy when I got this interview because I just got out of nowhere and they were like, Ben Smith. I was like, I know Ben Smith, but I don't know Ben Smith as Ben Smith. I was like, who is this? And I was like, Drown, 4 o'clock club every day. I was like, yo. So I was like, this is really, really good for me. I was really happy to do this one. It's nice to meet you.
Wicked. Yeah, same. Same.
Yeah. How are you enjoying yourself during this quarantine?
I mean, it's kind of boring, but at the same time, I've had quite a lot of work to do in terms of writing and voicing stuff. So I've been lucky to be able to work. I'm just sort of sick of the house, you know. I just want to go somewhere else.
Okay. I wanted to start with a couple quick fire questions to break the ice. Are you hearing that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Oh, milk chocolate. Every time.
Yeah, I like that. If you can be from any other decade or era, which would it be?
Oof, I'd probably say the 80s, just so I could see. I'd love to see like hip hop being born in New York, you know, to see it gradually coming up. That would be amazing to witness.
Yeah, that would be nice. All the little parties going on and all the beats. Oh, that's good. I'm seeing. Okay. Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Oh, wow. I'd say mouthy, wannabe, and clumsy.
Okay. What's on your iPod or cell phone playlist right now? What's your playlist right now?
Right now, it's basically like vintage grime because I'm reading this book by Jeffrey Bawachi. I'm actually doing the audio book, and it's a book on the history of grime. So each chapter is about a different song that kind of helped start the movement. So I'm basically listening to classic grime from like 2002 to like 2008.
That's really cool to be fair. We're looking into grime a lot as well lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking of maybe even doing a doc, to be fair, just with my friends, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a fascinating thing, and it's just 100% art, you know, it's purely British. It's an interesting thing to dig deeper into, I would say.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay. If you're a comedian, what would you be doing?
Or I'd probably be a youth worker, which is what I was when I started doing comedy. I'd probably still be doing that, working with kids.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, man.
In your comedy, you say you don't like kids, but hey.
That's only my own.
That's only your own. All right, cool. If you could have any 3 people dead or alive in a song, who would you have?
On a song that I'm listening to, or a song that I am also on?
Your song you're also on, as a feature.
A song that I'm also on. Wow. I'll probably have Otis Redding and Stevie Wonder.
Oh, right.
And then, and then I'd have a verse from. Who would I have a verse from? Oh man, to go with those guys, a verse from Andre 3000.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Name a book that's positively shaped you.
Probably Prior Convictions by Richard Pryor. It's an autobiography by a legendary comedian, and his life story is, I mean, you can read it like the Bible, man. It's like a step-by-step guide on how not to live your life. It's fascinating, but there's so much to learn from it.
If this was your movie, this is the intro scene, and we're in your hometown, what are the scenes? Where are we? What do we see? Who do we see? And what are we smelling?
Well, we'd see the five-a-side cage next to the community centre on Willesden High Road. Be playing some football. See Kilburn Tube Station. see Kilburn High Road, Halton High Street, and you'd see me and my friends going up and down on the 26 or the 52. You see a bit of carnival,
Very
see a bit
carnival.
of the canal.
Okay. And like growing up, would you say what type of music were you hearing growing up?
Oh, I listened to everything, man. I listened to pop music and my parents' records as well. My dad was into like folk music and jazz music, and my mom was into like rare grooves and reggae, old school like reggae and 80s reggae as well, and R&B. So I grew up with all of that pop music of the day, and then my sister was like big into Prince. Just listened to a bit of that. And then my own stuff, when I was like a teenager, I was listening to a mixture of indie and hip hop and jungle. I mean, it was those three really. It's like indie rock music, like Nirvana and Lemonheads, people like that, and then all sorts of hip hop, East and West Coast and South, and then the rest was just like I say, like K jungle, drum and bass. It was that kind of time, early mid 90s.
So like in school, were you rowdy? Were you quiet?
Nah. No, I was neither of those. I wasn't quiet, but I wasn't rowdy at all. I was a nerd really, but I was a bit of a clown as well, so I was always smucking around, annoying teachers, annoying people. I was quite annoying, I would say. Yeah, but I wasn't like, I definitely wasn't cool, and I wasn't like rowdy. I wasn't part of like the hard crowd. I wasn't part of the road guys. I wasn't part of the guys who were raving. I was more just like me and my mates, football, jokes, chasing girls. So, you know what I mean?
So,
That was pretty much it.
when you were young, like, what was the first sign for you that you had a talent?
It was probably the school plays. At primary school, I always wanted to be in the school plays. I was never afraid of being on stage. I didn't feel fear of getting up and making a fool of myself. So I think it was when I was very young, man, like 7 or 8. And I go to these drama classes after school at the Tricycle on Kilburn High Road, which is what the Kiln used to be called.
Yeah.
And I go to the little drama workshops and that. I knew at an early age, but I just didn't know that it would be something I could do as an adult. I didn't really know that at that stage.
Do you remember your first experience ever going to one of your drama classes?
Yeah, I remember the sort of exercises that you do, the sort of drama games. I really remember that. Very, very young, like 6 or 7. I really remember the first school play in primary school as well. It was like a musical. I was playing a character called Doc, just by coincidence, really. And it was like a mixture of lots of old school musicals, so lots of different songs. But it's like a cowboy western type story.
But you were first into music before you went into acting or comedy, right?
Yeah. So I was always doing music as a hobby.
Okay.
And when I was at university, yes, I was working as a youth worker in my holidays and that. And yeah, whenever I could at nighttime, I'd go and do battles or DJ or do open mics or host things. I was always doing that. So yeah, it was music first, but I didn't really make a career out of it. I didn't make a living out of it. I was just staying a youth worker part time and doing the rap part time, really.
Did you self-teach yourself, or did you have someone that taught you?
No, I used to like rap is like, it's so DIY. You just watch stuff. I just used to watch VHS tapes and, watch other people in the raves and that, and, try and teach myself.
Yeah. Do you still DJ to this day? Or...
Yeah, I still DJ. I just never get booked. I never get booked to do it, but I'm still there, still available.
How have you been managing in the last couple of months with your work and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I was on a shoot for Apple when it all went down. And on indefinitely. But it's cool. Like in the meantime, I've been very lucky, you know, doing a lot of voice work, voiceover stuff, and a lot of writing as well. I've been writing adverts and finishing off my movie for Film 4, writing a TV show for BBC Two. So it's been kind of in a weird way fortunate because I've not been able to go anywhere. I've had to sit and write, you know.
Yeah.
And like I say, right now I'm doing this audio book. So again, it just needs me alone, sat on a chair in a quiet space. So it kind of suits lockdown.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky, really. I've been lucky.
I'm watching your comedy for a while now, and like, I watch a couple of your shows. And I wanted to know, like, what's your writing process like?
For comedy, very strange. It's kind of organic, you know. I'll think of an idea, you know, or have a conversation with somebody, where I think the concept of that conversation is quite funny, you know.
Yeah.
There's something about that that's funny. But I won't write it down into a joke. I'll just, when I'm on stage, I would just bring up that concept, bring up that point, you know, whatever it was in that conversation that I thought was funny, bring it up and see if the audience are with me. And then as you sort of chat it through with the audience, you find that it's hard to describe it. You find the funny. You just like when you're having a conversation with your friends, you instinctively know which moments are funnier than others in what you're saying to your friends. So it's kind of like that. You test out the waters, and then once I've done that, then I would go home and write it down. I wouldn't write it before, if you see what I mean.
Okay, yeah. Because you don't know what people's gonna like. So after you've tried it, then you would notice it.
Yeah, I feel like writing it beforehand is kind of, that just suggests that I know exactly what everybody finds funny, and you don't know that. So for me, I go out there and just sort of test the concept itself, just see if the idea is funny rather than the structure of the joke. Then I'll go home and write the structure.
Then you write the structure. Okay. How long do you like take on your jokes normally?
There's no pattern really. There's no way of working that out. Sometimes I've written just endlessly funny shit in minutes. Other times it's taken me hours, days, months to put it all together and make it work. There's not really a science to that. How quick it happens. Yeah. Because jokes are they're not like songs. They're like trees.
Okay.
They keep branching off. So if you've got a joke, it's not the same as a song, whereas when you finish the song's done, and you just keep performing that song. With a joke, it sort of evolves. And you can add bits onto it, take bits away, make it funnier, or make it more interesting, or make it connected to something else that you thought of. Make the things go together. It's different, and it can take minutes or it can take forever. So, whereas a song, I would want to get that done in minutes if possible.
Did you feel like when you came out of the house, and you were in the area, and when you were in Brent, there was a lot of motivation to do what you wanted to do in entertainment?
Yeah, I mean, it was like in the early stages, all of my inspiration came from here. You know, there was all sorts of little recording spots set up. There was a place in Dollis Hill, Reinforced Records, and you know, all the local MCs and stuff like that. You know, people were always encouraging each other, or if they weren't encouraging you, they were challenging you. You know, and both of those things worked as inspiration to do my thing. But that was all from Brent. That was all from growing up here. You know, I didn't venture out that far really. Outside of Brent. Yeah.
What were some of the studios that you used to go to?
Oh man, we had a set up in Wembley for a while, in Crown House. We had Reinforced Records, used to go there a lot at Dollis Hill.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a whole bunch along Wilson High Road. I can't remember the names of all of them. Escape. There was a lot, man. There was a lot of creativity then, and I'm sure there is now. But now I'm in different places all the time. It's not the same. It's like having to rely just on Brent.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you ever got recorded rapping?
Yeah, yeah, I do. It was 2000, and I was with a friend of mine, Richard Queensborough,
Mm.
who was a dude that I met who was, he had a little setup, and he was just the first guy I met who had a little setup. And yeah, I was like, I can rap, and he was like, all right, then come round, and he looped this thing, and it was so basic. What we did, we just looped it. But like being recorded and hearing myself, because I used to record myself, just
Yeah.
into a tape player in my bedroom, but obviously that's not the same. This was like an original beat with my voice on it, and I was like, oh my god, I was so gassed, even though it was terrible. It was called One Plan. Yeah, it's called One Plan. I remember that.
Do you remember any clashes that you had when you were rapping?
Yeah. And that's what I did most of the time was clash people. There was all sorts of competitions you could do for money.
Yeah.
Like jump off. Mudlands was another one. They had a battle at Muds and Things at Camden. I used to do that one, and that one I did all right. I went in once. I got murdered, and then I went back another to like the quarterfinals. I got knocked out by a rapper called Sway.
Hey, oh yeah.
I became friendly with him. Yeah, became friendly with him afterwards, and he went on to do amazing things. In the jump off, I clashed a lot of people, man, and I was champion 3 times in a row. And then Professor Green came along, and he just tore the jump off up, changed the whole game. He was one of the best battle rappers I'd ever seen. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to make a name for myself doing this battle thing. I'm going to try and do something else. So I kind of retired from battling as early as possible. Must have been about 25.
So with comedy, what was the first time you felt like you could do comedy?
It was very late. I was very late. I was doing some writing for the BBC in 2007, 2008. And it was for a Lenny Henry show. I was just writing bits and pieces for the script, helping out. And it was the producers on that show who said I should try a comedy. I'd never even thought about it until then. I was 29, so I don't. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a childhood dream. I just did it just to see what it was like, and within a year I was doing it professionally. So it was mad. Yeah, I found it like people would say, "Oh, it's so scary, but I didn't find it that way. I thought it was easier than battling. I thought, I could do this easy. And then, of course, the bigger I got, the harder it became. And then I did start getting nervous all the time. It's just like, you got to deliver. You can't just be like that new guy all the time. You got to establish yourself and deliver. And that I found really difficult.
Yeah. It must be scary going on stage. I couldn't even fathom it.
Yeah, man. It's brutal.
Because you were doing big stage. Have you done Apollo yet or not?
Yeah, I did it like 2013 or something.
Yeah, I thought I've seen it. How was that? What would you feel like before you did that?
I'm pretty sure I was very nervous. I mean, you try and treat it like any other gig, but of course you can't.
Yeah.
Because of the nature, big TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to just be normal, be yourself. It's difficult.
And doing more shows. What was the first big break that you got with your writing?
With my writing?
Yeah.
You say with my writing? It would have been the 4 O'Clock Club.
4 O'Clock Club?
Yeah, that was the first thing that I wrote that people were like, this could work, this could be a show, That was the first experience I had of that. Before that, it's just you just do your little ideas and you don't really know. But that time, like I said, I was doing little bits and pieces for the BBC, so I knew a couple people to show it to, And I showed it to this one guy, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to take that to my friend at CBBC. She's looking for a new show because Tracy Beaker was finishing, right?
Yeah.
So they wanted something to replace Tracy Beaker. So the timing as well was perfect.
Yeah.
It's like that thing, you know. Sure, you've heard that phrase of making your own luck. You know,
Yeah.
I look back and I think, yeah, I was lucky, but at the same time, I was in a position to be lucky. Do you know what I mean? I had the material, I'd done the work, I had an idea. So when the luck came, I was able to jump on it. Yeah, you know, a lot of people say that, and it makes me, I'd say, prouder than anything else that I've done, because to know that there's young people who grew up watching that. I didn't have that kind of show when I was a kid, and to know that there's like I meet big men, big women every day in the street who are like, oh my God, you made my whole childhood, you know, and that is just, yeah, I don't think anything makes me prouder than that, you know.
So growing up, who were your inspirations?
Steve Martin from The Jerk. I would say probably Ice Cube, the Beastie Boys, Evan Dando from the Lemonheads, Bob Marley, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Roald Dahl, so many different people.
At this point, where you are now in your career, is there anything that you still want to do? Any levels you want to hit? Any shows you want to have?
Yeah, definitely. There's still a lot more. You know, I want to get this movie out one day. Developing it with Film 4. The script is good. Obviously, because of the virus, who knows what's going to happen with the film industry? But yeah, that's one of my big targets. The other one, I'm finishing my novel for young people. I've got a novel about 2/3 of the way through. That'll come out next year. That's another big target. And what one dream I'd really like is I'd love to voice a character on a Pixar movie. I've voiced a couple characters in cartoon movies, but not Pixar yet, you know. And I've done some Disney stuff. So I'd love to take it that one step further and voice a character, even a small one, in a Pixar film. That would be very satisfying.
When you started doing voiceovers, and how did you feel about it when you were in the booth?
I loved it from the start because it's just so more relaxed than everything else. Like with rapping, with comedy, with acting, you know, there's so much pressure on how you present yourself, and keeping that consistency of personality going, because it's what people have bought into. Whereas when you're doing voices, you can really experiment and do crazy stuff, man. Like I would go into the booth with like 5 different voice ideas, you know, for one character, and we'll just muck around and pick the best one or the funniest one. And like you can go to work in your pajamas with a beard and you like no shape up and looking dead, and it doesn't matter because no one's ever going to see you. So it's like, yeah, it's the side of performance that I really, really enjoy. It's very relaxed. It's a good atmosphere.
Do you have any tips you want to give to youth coming up in the media industry?
Yeah, like I said before, I think, you know, it's that combination of self-belief. So really believing in that work that you're doing, but you've got to sort of separate self-belief and self-confidence from ego. Because the ego is not going to help you. If you think that you're owed a living, that people should know how brilliant you are and you don't have to tell them, then you might find yourself in hot water pretty quickly. I think you just got to sort of quietly know that what you're doing is good and be, it sounds like an oxymoron, but be gently forceful. So really push yourself without being overly pushy, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So that people respect you, but they also have to sit up and listen to what you got to say. And it's just looking for every possible opportunity, man. Like there's so many more opportunities now than there was when I was coming up because of the internet. So, you know, there's every chance, every day, any time for you to record your thoughts or create whatever your artistic product is, whatever your process is. There's a way now to connect with limitless people. So the question is, how do you move head and shoulders above everybody else that's doing it? And that is going to have to be the quality of your work. So the quality of work comes first. That's absolutely paramount. Making sure what you've got is good and that you like it and that you would want to be a part of that work. If you were an audience member, you'd want to see what you're doing, you know, getting that straight first. And then once you've got that and you're proud of it, that will give you the confidence to keep pushing it and give you the belief to keep going. And then when those opportunities arise, you got to know your worth and know how much you are actually worth, you and your product. So that you know when people are taking advantage of you. And then the rest of the time, like I say, be positive and enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. Because there is no like perfect happy ending when you're an artist. It's just a series of ups and downs. But the beautiful part is throughout all of those ups and downs, you're still an artist. So you're living life as an artist. And if you can do that, you've already won. So it's a case of enjoying the process, man.
Enjoying the process. Thank you for this interview. This is really good. It's been really insightful. And it's actually really nice to meet you because, to be honest, to be fair, out of most of the Brit celebrities, you're probably the only person I really want to actually meet.
Thank you. Good to meet.
So this has been Brent Locked In. This has been Ben Smith, and I've been Tyrique. And thank you.